7 reasons why girls like you but don't say anything. Modern Stoic. Love is not something you find. Love is something that finds you. Loretta Young. We've all been there. You meet a girl who clearly has a spark for you. She lights up when you walk into the room, lingers around you, and remembers even the smallest details you've shared. Her body language screams interest, and the signs are all there. But then, silence. No words, no clear actions. You're left wondering, if she likes me so much, why won't she just say it? You begin questioning yourself. Am I misreading the signals? Is she just being friendly? Maybe I've imagined the whole thing. It's frustrating, no doubt. But let me tell you this. You're not wrong. She does like you. Those signs you're picking up on? They're real. She's probably more into you than you think. The issue isn't a lack of interest. It's that she's caught in a tangle of psychological, social, and emotional barriers that keep her from vocalizing her feelings. Here's the truth. There are deep-rooted reasons why she might be quiet about her interest in you. It's not about playing games or trying to be elusive. Rather, it's the result of the complex social dynamics that women often face, combined with personal fears and vulnerabilities. So, in this piece, I'll walk you through 7 reasons why girls like you but don't express it. Understanding these reasons will help you see things differently. It will help you interpret her behavior more accurately and stop second-guessing yourself when there's a spark of attraction, but no words. By the end, you'll know how to act with confidence, how to make the right move, even when her silence says nothing. And, more importantly, you'll understand that her silence doesn't mean she's not interested. It often means just the opposite. 1. She's scared of rejection and protecting her ego. Let's kick things off with the most basic but crucial reason: fear of rejection. She's just as terrified of rejection as you are, possibly even more so. Here's a truth most guys miss about female psychology. Women experience rejection as deeply as men, but they have fewer opportunities to build resilience against it. Why? Because women are traditionally expected to be pursued, not to pursue. It's a whole different game when the tables are turned. When a woman develops genuine feelings for you, it's not just about rejection. It's about risking her ego, pride, and emotional investment. She's not merely worried about your rejection, she's also worried about the vulnerability that comes with putting herself out there. For her, it's not just a slap in the face. It's a personal wound, something that can sting long after the moment has passed. Think about it from her perspective. She's been dropping hints, making eye contact, and trying to let you know that she's into you without directly saying it. She wants you to see these signals, make the first move, believing that, if you're truly interested, you'll notice and act on them. But here's the catch. If she ends up having to tell you outright, it's like admitting her subtle hints weren't enough, and that can feel like a massive failure in her eyes. It's almost like saying, "I wasn't enough for you to see this on your own," and that hurts her pride. The more she likes you, the deeper the emotional investment. The more invested she is, the more intense the fear of rejection becomes. You have to understand the psychology here. For a woman, being direct about her feelings can feel like the ultimate test of whether you like her back. If you really liked her, wouldn't you have noticed? Wouldn't you have made the first move? She believes that if you were truly interested, the signals would have been clear, and you would have acted without her having to spell it out. So when she even thinks about confessing her feelings, she's already setting herself up for the worst-case scenario: rejection. But here's where things get more complicated. The more she likes you, the more she risks losing the bond you currently share, even if it's just a friendly connection. If things are comfortable between you two, and she values that dynamic, the idea of changing things with a confession of romantic interest becomes terrifying. She doesn't want to ruin the friendship, the camaraderie, or whatever connection you two have built. In her mind, it's better to leave things as they are than to risk everything for something that might not work out. The comfort of the status quo feels like a shield from vulnerability. Also, there's the issue of emotional control. By keeping her feelings private, she has some level of power over them. She can control how much of herself she reveals, keeping that vulnerability locked away. But the moment she admits she likes you, she surrenders that control. Her feelings are no longer just her own. She opens herself up to your response, which, depending on how you react, could be devastating. That's not something she takes lightly. It's easy for you to brush off rejection and move on, but for her, it feels like the end of the world, especially when it comes to someone she's developed real feelings for. This is where the blessing of Stoicism comes into play. It teaches you to accept uncertainty and detach yourself from outcomes. As a modern Stoic, you understand that rejection is part of life, but it doesn't define you. It doesn't diminish your worth, and it doesn't change the course of your journey. For her, the fear of rejection can be crippling, but you, with the calm and resilience of an old Stoic, know that sometimes letting things unfold naturally is the best approach. The more you can show strength in uncertainty, the more she might feel comfortable taking the risk to express her feelings. She needs to see that the risk isn't as terrifying as she imagines, and that it won't destroy either of you. But remember, don't push too hard. Be the kind of man who embodies the grace of modern Stoicism, not the one who rushes into things, but the one who lets the right moments reveal themselves. Don't be afraid to be patient. After all, the blessing of Stoicism lies in trusting the process. 2. She's been conditioned to wait to be chosen. This one is huge and explains so much about female behaviour in dating. From childhood, most women are taught directly and indirectly that their role in romance is to be attractive and available, not to be the pursuer. They're taught to wait to be chosen rather than to do the choosing. This conditioning runs incredibly deep. She's been told by movies, books, family, and society that the right way for romance to unfold is for the man to recognise her worth and pursue her. If she has to chase or explicitly ask, it somehow feels wrong or desperate to her, even if that's not logically true. The fairy tale narrative that most women grew up with involves being discovered and chosen by someone who recognises their value. Having to explicitly state her interest feels like it goes against this deeply ingrained script about how romance is supposed to work. But there's another layer to this. She wants to feel desired and pursued. Part of what makes romance exciting for many women is the feeling of being wanted, of someone being so attracted to them that they can't help but make a move. If she is to be the one to initiate, it robs her of that experience of feeling irresistibly attractive. She's also been taught that men prefer the chase, that they're more interested in women who seem slightly out of reach. So even if she likes you intensely, she might stay silent because she believes that expressing her interest too directly will actually make her less attractive to you. This conditioning also includes the belief that good girls don't chase men. She might worry that being too forward will make her seem desperate, easy, or not relationship material. These are outdated beliefs, but they're still incredibly powerful in many women's minds. If you believe in taking control of your romantic destiny and rejecting outdated scripts, drop a comment right now. I choose to pursue what I want. Like this video, subscribe for more unshakable wisdom, and remind yourself daily, you are the one who writes your own story. 3. She's overthinking every possible outcome. Women often find themselves trapped in the cycle of overthinking, especially when it comes to relationships and emotional matters. While you may see a situation as simple, she likes you, you like her, and so you should get together. Her mind races through countless scenarios, each more complex than the last. She starts wondering, what if he's just being polite but doesn't actually want to date me? What if we try dating and it doesn't work out, leaving us unable to even stay friends? What if he's interested in someone else and I'm completely misreading everything? What if I'm more invested in this than he is? What if this messes up the entire friend group dynamic? The more important you are to her, the more she amplifies the stakes, imagining disastrous outcomes if things don't work out. If you're connected in a shared social space, a workplace, or through mutual friends, she's considering all the ways things could become awkward if the romantic spark doesn't turn into something real. She's evaluating every interaction, searching for clues to your feelings, and often overanalyzing them. She might convince herself that you're just being friendly, even though you're actually flirting. Women often underestimate how much men like them, just as men often misread women's interest in return. So, despite your signs, she stays silent, believing you're not interested in her romantically. It doesn't end there. The complexity builds. She wonders why you haven't made a move yet. If he liked me, why hasn't he said something? Maybe he just sees me as a friend. Or perhaps he's not ready for a relationship. Maybe I'm not his type. She begins to invent detailed explanations for your behaviour without considering that you might be just as hesitant and uncertain as she is. Overthinking leads to paralysis. The more she focuses on every possible way things could go wrong, the more she prevents herself from acting, even when action is exactly what both of you need. This is where the Stoic principles come in. A Stoic man like Marcus Aurelius understands the power of controlling his thoughts and actions, not being driven by endless what-ifs and emotional paralysis. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, said Marcus Aurelius. You must understand that the overthinking that she is caught up in doesn't just harm her, it keeps you both from taking action. It leads to indecision, missed opportunities, and miscommunications. You, as a man who embraces the Stoic mindset, must learn to break this cycle. Realize that you are both human, both prone to hesitation and fear of failure. But the most successful interactions happen when you act decisively and with clarity. You can't afford to wait for her to break the silence. You must create space for action. In modern life, we are surrounded by distractions, pressures, and uncertainties. The world moves fast, and emotions can cloud reason. But the Stoic man stands strong, knowing that overthinking and emotional paralysis are enemies of progress. The obstacle is the way. As the Stoic quote goes, you must face the uncertainty head-on, rather than avoid it by staying in a loop of thought. Take the first step. Show your interest clearly. Even when things are unclear and fear tries to dominate, let action guide you. Don't wait for her to make the first move. Instead, empower yourself by embracing clarity and decisiveness. Overthinking can only paralyze you. Don't let it. Remember, Stoic principles teach you that your mind can either be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. Don't let fear of failure or uncertainty hold you back. Instead, face challenges with a calm, resolute mind. If she's overthinking things, don't let that be your excuse for hesitation. You must lead with purpose, make your intentions clear, and allow your actions to speak louder than any thoughts or doubts that may arise. Take control. Make your move. And above all, be decisive. Success is built on taking action, not getting lost in what could go wrong. 4. She doesn't want to seem desperate or too available. In the world of dating, the modern Stoic man knows that appearances and signals can be deceiving. And for women, one of the most common dilemmas is balancing genuine interest with the fear of seeming desperate. It's something deeply ingrained in social conditioning, this idea that expressing too much interest too soon makes you less attractive. A woman might genuinely like you, perhaps more than she's ready to admit, but she's been raised on the notion that eagerness is a red flag. After all, the modern Stoic man is taught not to chase, not to seem too available, and certainly not to seem desperate. So, what does a woman do when she likes you but doesn't want to appear too eager? She stays quiet. It's almost as though she's locked in a psychological battle, fighting against the odds of wanting to show you how she feels but not wanting to scare you off in the process. You've probably heard the old adage that men are drawn to what they can't have. There's this widespread belief that men find aloofness or a bit of challenge irresistible. So, instead of openly expressing her feelings, she hesitates, worried that showing vulnerability too soon will make her appear too easy, or worse, make you lose interest. You must understand this. Her silence is not a reflection of disinterest. It's her way of playing by the invisible rules that society has set for her. But here's where things get tricky. In trying to protect her image and avoid the dreaded label of desperate, she might unintentionally give the wrong impression. She might come off as disinterested, cold, or detached, when, in reality, Her heart is racing to show you just how much she likes you. The fear of being perceived as needy or overly available can be so overwhelming that it leads to mixed signals. Instead of appearing mysterious or intriguing, she might seem emotionally distant. The very effort to not appear desperate can sometimes make her look emotionally unavailable, and that's not the message she wants to send. At the core of this behavior is an underlying belief that the right person will come after her, despite the confusing signals she's throwing your way. In her mind, if she's truly compatible with you, you'll be the one to pursue her, even if she's playing hard to get in the process. This approach, often rooted in the idea of the old Stoic philosophies of detachment and balance, might seem like a game. But deep down, she's hoping that her ability to keep her emotions under wraps will make her more desirable to you, without coming across as desperate or too easy. However, this fear of seeming desperate isn't necessarily a conscious decision. It's more of an instinctual reaction to years of cultural conditioning. You must understand that this behavior is not a reflection of her feelings for you, but rather a response to societal expectations. She's been taught that vulnerability in the early stages of a relationship is a weakness. It's the modern Stoic paradox: maintaining composure and not being overly transparent, even when you feel strongly about someone. So, if you sense mixed signals or a little emotional distance, don't take it personally. It's not about you. It's about her trying to navigate the complex world of dating in a way that keeps her dignity intact. Be patient, be understanding. The blessing of Stoicism lies in recognizing that everything unfolds in time, and you must be the one to read between the lines, understanding her silence as a form of strength, not weakness. Don't mistake her hesitation for disinterest, and certainly don't interpret it as a lack of desire. She's simply trying to protect herself from what she fears might be perceived as desperation. But if you want to connect with her, don't play into the drama. Be the steady presence she needs, and you'll find that her real feelings will eventually surface. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with someone who could benefit from this wisdom. Subscribe for more insights on relationships and self-improvement. Comment to remember: I am patient and create the right moments to express my feelings. 5. She's waiting for the perfect moment or sign. Let's get one thing straight. The woman you're interested in? She's not just sitting there twiddling her thumbs, hoping that one day you'll magically know how she feels. No, she's waiting for something bigger. She's waiting for the perfect moment to come around, a moment that feels just right. In her mind, there's a script that must be followed. The scene needs to be flawless, the mood impeccable. It's like she's planning for a Hollywood romance scene where everything aligns in a beautiful and poetic way. But here's the reality check. That perfect moment? It doesn't exist. You must understand this. Waiting for perfection only leads to frustration and missed opportunities. She's building this narrative in her head, where everything must be perfectly orchestrated, just the right time, just the right place. But you know what happens? Days, weeks, even months go by, and nothing happens. The stars don't align. Instead of a magical conversation about feelings, you're stuck in a never-ending limbo of wondering why nothing ever progresses. This ties into a crucial lesson in Stoicism. Stoics teach us that we cannot wait around for the perfect circumstances to act. Action is key. You must act, even when things aren't perfect. Waiting for everything to fall into place means you miss the chance to make things work right here, right now. Life doesn't wait for the stars to align, and neither should you. Now let's talk about the second part of this issue. She's waiting for a sign from you. She's not just holding out for a fairy tale moment. She's looking for a signal, a subtle nod that it's safe to open up. But here's the kicker. She's probably expecting something far more explicit than you've been giving. She wants a clear message that you're on the same page, that your feelings are as real as hers. And that's where things get tricky. You might think you're giving her what she needs with your actions, but if you're not vocal or clear about it, she's still unsure. This is where Stoic lessons can come into play once again. Stoicism isn't just about internal strength, it's also about communication. It's about being transparent and honest, even when the situation feels uncertain. You must be clear in your intentions and your actions. Silence and subtlety can sometimes be misinterpreted as indifference, and when she's waiting for a sign, your silence might be exactly what's holding her back from taking the leap. Don't leave her in the dark. The key here is simple. Don't overcomplicate things. Life doesn't need to be perfect for you to express how you feel. Your vulnerability, your willingness to speak up, that's what matters. Be bold. Don't wait for the right moment. Take action now. Show her that you're receptive to her feelings by being open about yours. This is a modern Stoic lesson in relationships. Vulnerability and clarity are just as important as strength and resolve. That is the beauty of a Stoic life. You act with purpose, even when conditions are less than ideal. The perfect moment? It's not going to come knocking at your door. You must create it. Don't wait for the universe to send you a sign. The sign is already here. It's in the moments you share, the conversations you have, and the courage you muster to be real and open with each other. So here's what you need to do. Take the initiative. Don't wait for the perfect time. Take a breath, gather your courage, and speak your truth. And when she's ready, she'll match your openness with her own. But remember, if you don't create the moment, you might be waiting forever. 6. She's protecting the fantasy. Understand this. Sometimes women stay quiet because speaking their truth would strip the dream away. The fantasies, the hopes, the what-ifs, they're all fragile and easily shattered. She doesn't want to risk confronting the reality, because reality might not live up to the perfect image she's built in her mind. Right now, in her mind, she's already living the perfect story. She imagines endless possibilities, dates that never end, romantic moments that take her breath away, and a relationship that matches every expectation she's set. That fantasy is powerful, it's alluring, and it's safe. The minute she opens up about her feelings, the situation becomes real. And once that happens, it's limited. There's no going back. If you say yes, she's locked in, and reality might fall short of her expectations. If you say no, she loses everything she had hoped for. In both cases, she's lost the magic. The hope is often more thrilling than the reality. But here's where the modern Stoic mindset can make a difference. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, taught us to control our emotions and understand that reality is the only true constant. The Stoic principles encourage us to accept life as it comes, without getting caught up in the fantasies and expectations that lead to disappointment. It's a reminder to not let hope become a prison, and to face reality with confidence and clarity. Let go of the idea that life always needs to be perfect. The Stoics lived with an understanding that true strength is in accepting the present moment, no matter how it unfolds. Women are not immune to this. They too struggle with the balance between hope and reality, but you, the modern man, must see through the illusions and accept that truth, however uncomfortable, is always better than fantasy. You must know that not every relationship needs to be a fairy tale. Pursue the real, not the perfect. And when she's silent, understand that it might be because she's scared of the reality you both could face. But do not let her silence make you second-guess yourself. Instead, live by the wisdom of the Stoic masters. Take action. Don't wait for the fantasy to fade. Don't let life pass you by while you chase perfection. You must make the choice, confront reality, and choose to build something concrete and lasting. It's in that decision that you'll find true power and true victory. This is the life of a modern Stoic, where strength, clarity, and decisiveness lead the way. If you find today's content useful to you, don't forget to share your feelings and lessons with us, or simply comment, "Very cool." It's a great encouragement for our channel makers. Thank you very much. 7. She assumes you already know and are choosing not to act. This, my friend, might be the most maddening reason of all. Picture this. She's been practically laying out a red carpet of signals, each one a little bit clearer than the last. The flirty glances, the lingering touch, the extended time spent with you, she's been communicating her interest in a way that, in her mind, is impossible to ignore. She thinks she's made it crystal clear that she likes you, and that's where the problem lies. She assumes that you, being a man of reasonable intelligence, must have noticed these signs. But here's where the modern Stoic mindset comes into play. Your silence, your lack of action, is being interpreted in a completely different way. Instead of seeing your hesitancy as uncertainty or a need for clarification, she sees it as intentional non-action. You're not oblivious. You're just choosing to not act on your feelings. She believes your silence is a polite way of rejecting her, and she doesn't want to push you into a confrontation by asking directly. In her eyes, you've already made your decision, and you're letting her down easy by not addressing it. You must understand that this is not just a misunderstanding. It's a subtle but profound miscommunication. You see, in her world, this lack of movement is a rejection, a subtle, unspoken no. This is where the blessing of Stoicism can come into play for you. The old Stoic taught us that action speaks louder than words, but sometimes the lack of action speaks volumes. When you don't act, you create a void in her understanding of where you stand. And in that silence, she fills in the gaps with her own assumptions, which may or may not align with your true feelings. It's a delicate dance. What you might perceive as just giving her space, she may perceive as indifference, and this can lead to her pulling away, assuming that you're simply not interested enough to act. You must be aware that women, particularly those who are self-assured, often expect clarity. They don't have time to second-guess signals. They want you to either step up or step aside. If you remain passive, she might start to question whether you even noticed, or worse, whether you care. So, when you're caught in this loop of inaction, don't be surprised if she starts to distance herself, thinking you've already made your choice. The truth is, it's not always about reading between the lines. It's about being clear in your own actions. You must not underestimate the power of a decisive move. A simple gesture, a clear statement, or even just acknowledging her feelings can break the silence and dispel the confusion. You must act swiftly, with the wisdom of a modern Stoic who understands that time waits for no one, and neither does love. The blessing of Stoicism teaches us that while patience is a virtue, passivity is not. If you leave her hanging too long, she'll assume you're simply choosing not to act, and that can be a far worse fate than just saying what's on your mind. Final thoughts. When it comes to understanding why women sometimes remain silent about their interest, it's crucial to shift the way you interpret their behavior. Silence isn't always a signal of disinterest. It can often be the exact opposite. This subtlety can be a challenging thing to decode, but in the end, embracing it can change the way you interact with women, and more importantly, how you approach relationships. You must realize that waiting for verbal confirmation is a trap. Just because someone isn't verbally expressing their interest doesn't mean it's not there. You should trust the actions and behaviors they display over the lack of direct words. A woman who flirts, spends time with you, or seeks your company is likely signaling something without saying a word. The Stoic approach teaches us to observe the actions, the deeds, not the empty promises or spoken reassurances. Look for those signals. They are your truth. Don't wait for verbal confirmation. One of the most common mistakes men make is waiting for a woman to verbally express her feelings before taking action. But let me tell you something. Silence is not a clear no. It's a pause, an invitation for you to take the initiative. Stoic lessons teach us that we must not wait for perfect conditions to act. If you're waiting for the exact words to make your move, you may be waiting forever. Her silence isn't rejection, it's an opportunity. If she's investing time in you, flirting, and making an effort to be around you, you must trust that these behaviors often mean more than words. Be courageous in reading the signals. Don't wait for her to say, "I like you." Often, what she's showing you is the unspoken version of those words. Understand the psychological barriers she faces. When a woman doesn't openly express her interest, it's not necessarily because she's not interested. it's more likely that she's grappling with internal conflicts and fears, fear of vulnerability, fear of rejection, or simply fear of what might happen if she puts herself out there. You must understand that making the first move is not just about overcoming your own fear of rejection. It's about helping her dismantle her emotional barricades. Remember, Stoicism teaches us that the biggest barriers are often in our minds. So when you approach her, think of it not as taking a risk for yourself, but as an act of kindness, offering her a chance to break free from the silence that holds her back. You're not just pursuing her. You're creating a space where both of you can be open and vulnerable. She's not saying nothing, she's holding back. Her silence doesn't mean a lack of interest. It often indicates too much interest, which she doesn't know how to express. Psychological barriers, societal pressures, or personal insecurities can all play into this. You must recognize that her quietness may be because she feels deeply, but she's unsure how to let you know. In the realm of Stoic philosophy, we are taught to not react impulsively to what we see and hear. Instead, observe and reflect. Don't jump to conclusions based on what's not being said. This is the essence of the Stoic life, finding calm and clarity amid uncertainty. So don't take her silence as a negative. See it as an invitation to give her the space to share her feelings when she feels safe doing so. Break through the silence. You must be the one who breaks through the silence. If she seems interested but isn't expressing it directly, take the lead. Be the one who creates the safety and opportunity she needs to feel comfortable opening up. If you keep waiting for her to make the first move, you may be stuck in a cycle of uncertainty forever. You are the man of action, the one who understands that silence isn't always a rejection. It's simply a pause, a holding back, a fear. Take charge of the situation. Create the moment where she can feel secure enough to let her guard down. Don't leave her wondering if she can trust you. Instead, show her that you can be trusted by being decisive. Create the conditions for her to open up. When you recognize that her silence is rooted in psychological barriers, your next step is to create the right environment for her to express her feelings. This means being patient, understanding, and compassionate. It means letting go of your own fear of rejection and focusing on creating a safe space for both of you. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control the feelings of others, but we can control our own actions and responses. By acting with understanding and empathy, you are giving her the permission she might need to let go of her fears and express what's been silently bubbling beneath the surface. Trust your own intuition. As you navigate this delicate dance of silence and unspoken attraction, trust your instincts. The key to Stoic life is not to overthink and overanalyze every moment, but rather to trust in your own judgment and actions. If you feel there's interest but no explicit confirmation, trust that gut feeling. The signs are often clearer than we give them credit for. Your ability to read between the lines, to discern what's not being said, is vital in these situations. Don't question yourself constantly. Be confident in the steps you take. Whether or not she's ready to speak up, your move will speak volumes. Turn hidden attraction into open connection. In the end, you have the power to turn hidden attraction into open connection. You don't need her to say the words. You need to be the one to create the moment where she feels comfortable saying them. Women may sometimes stay silent because of their own fears and insecurities, but you can be the catalyst that encourages openness. Be the one to lead her out of her shell. Be the one who helps her move past the barriers of silence and into a real connection. Understanding why women stay silent about their interest requires a shift in how you perceive their behavior. When you're aware of these dynamics, you can navigate them more skillfully. Take action, break through the silence, and turn potential into reality. After all, it's only when we step outside of our comfort zones and let go of our own fears that we can truly experience the depth of connection that both of you crave. Embrace the Stoic life and its lessons. Understand that in the quiet moments, the true essence of attraction often lies. And when you approach it with confidence and clarity, you can transform that silence into something beautiful. Don't wait, act. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. All right, that's all for today's video on 7 reasons why girls like you but don't say anything. A modern Stoic perspective. I hope you found this valuable. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe for more insightful content like this. If you have any thoughts or feedback on today's topic or anything you'd like to discuss, feel free to drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your opinions and engage in some great conversation. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay calm, stay wise, and keep improving. Catch you in the next one.